The rhythmic hum of the morning cleaning machine echoed through the marble-floored lobby of Sterling Enterprises as Aaron Miles tightened his grip on the mop handle. His hands were rough, blistered from years of scrubbing floors and hauling trash cans before sunrise. But this morning, something inside him was different. A fire that had been quietly burning in his chest for years was ready to ignite. He wasn't just a janitor today. He was a father fighting for the one thing that kept him alive: his daughter Ivy. Aaron had arrived at the towering glass building at 6 a.m., same as always, except this time he carried more than cleaning supplies. He carried proof. Proof that the woman sitting 40 stories above him, Madeline Voss, the youngest CEO in the company's history, had something that belonged to him. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that show the strength of a single heart against impossible odds, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. Your support helps us bring more true and heartfelt stories to life. By 9 a.m., the office had come alive with the click of heels, the hum of voices, and the buzz of phones. Aaron moved quietly between hallways, blending into the background like wallpaper. Most employees barely noticed him. Those who did called him sir, out of pity, or avoided his eyes altogether. But he wasn't invisible, not today. In his pocket was a small, cracked USB drive. Inside it were photos, reports, and an audio recording from a confidential internal meeting that had taken place 3 months earlier. The same meeting that led to Aaron's termination from his old department, maintenance logistics, under false allegations of theft. His reputation was destroyed overnight, and his daughter's heart broke when their landlord evicted them for unpaid rent. Aaron had begged for a chance to explain, to prove he hadn't stolen a cent, but no one cared about the janitor's story. Until last week, when an IT intern who once admired Aaron for his kindness secretly sent him the files that could clear his name. Those files were linked to Madeline's phone, and now he was going to make her listen. The elevator dinged softly as Aaron stepped inside, ignoring the startled glances of well-dressed executives. His blue uniform stood out like a scar against their suits. He pressed the button for the 40th floor and stared at his reflection in the mirror. A man in his 40s, with sunken eyes, gray-streaked hair, and a quiet determination that even exhaustion couldn't erase. When the doors opened, the air was different. Colder, sharper, filled with the scent of money and ambition. Assistants whispered into headsets, and glass walls framed an empire. At the far end of the hall, through frosted doors, was Madeline Voss's office. He walked straight toward it. The receptionist, a young woman with nervous eyes, stood to block his way. "Sir, you can't go in there without an appointment." But Aaron didn't stop. He pushed open the doors, his heart pounding like thunder in his ears. Madeline looked up from her desk, startled. "Who are you? What's the meaning of this?" Aaron placed the mop aside, reached into his pocket, and pulled out her phone, the same one she had carelessly left charging in the lobby earlier that morning while passing through. He had found it near the maintenance cart, glowing with unread messages. He didn't plan to invade privacy, but when he saw his name flashing in one of the email threads, something in him snapped. He slammed the phone onto her glass desk with a sharp crack. The room fell silent. "You should check what's on your screen before pretending to be clean," he said, his voice low but trembling with restrained fury. Madeline frowned, reaching for the phone. When she unlocked it, her confident smile vanished. There, on the screen, were the same documents, the same proof of her signature authorizing a frame-up that blamed Aaron for the missing funds. Her fingers shook as she scrolled through her own messages, her face draining of color. Aaron stood motionless, his chest rising and falling. "You took my life from me," he whispered. "You made my daughter think her father was a thief." For the first time in years, the powerful CEO looked small. The weight of her choices hit her like a wave. She had ordered the cover, up to protect a senior executive who was secretly skimming from the company's charity fund. A fund meant for employee families in crisis. Aaron's department had raised concerns, and he became the scapegoat. Madeline swallowed hard, tears glistening at the corners of her eyes. I didn't know it would go that far," she murmured. "I thought it was just paperwork. I didn't realize they—" Aaron's hands clenched. "You didn't want to realize. People like me don't exist to you. We clean your floors, fix your leaks, and disappear." Outside, employees had gathered near the glass wall, watching the confrontation unfold. The soundproof glass couldn't hide the tension. the trembling voice of a broken man standing before power, demanding his truth. Madeline rose slowly, guilt etched across her face. "What do you want?" Aaron reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, worn photo. A little girl with golden curls, missing front teeth, and a smile full of faith. "I want my daughter to see her father's smile again," he said. "I want her to know that honesty still matters." The silence was suffocating. Then, unexpectedly, Madeline sank back into her chair and covered her face. For years, she had lived in a world of corporate cruelty, burying empathy under deadlines and deals. But seeing Aaron standing there, with his dignity held together by sheer willpower, shattered something inside her. She took a deep breath. "Give me the files," she said quietly. "I'll make this right." Aaron didn't move. "Words won't fix what you broke." Madeline nodded slowly. "Then let my actions speak." That afternoon, Sterling Enterprises released an internal report exposing the corruption within the finance department. The real culprits were suspended and Aaron's name was cleared across every internal memo. Madeline called a company-wide meeting, standing before hundreds of employees as she admitted her own failure in leadership. And then, in front of everyone, she called Aaron onto the stage. The crowd fell silent as the janitor, turned whistleblower, stepped forward, wiping his hands nervously on his uniform. Madeline turned to him, voice unsteady. "Mr. Miles, on behalf of this company and myself, I want to apologize. I failed you. I failed what this company stands for. But if you're willing, I'd like you to lead our new Integrity and Ethics division." A gasp rippled through the room. Aaron froze, unable to process what he'd just heard. The same company that had fired him now wanted him to lead an entire department dedicated to fairness. Later that evening, as the city lights shimmered outside the window of his small apartment, Ivy ran into her father's arms.
"Daddy, they said your name on TV. You're famous."
She laughed, hugging him tightly. Aaron knelt, tears streaming down his cheeks. "No, sweetheart," he whispered. "I'm just finally free." In the days that followed, Madeline personally visited Aaron's neighborhood to see the people who had suffered from her decisions. The janitors, security guards, and cafeteria workers who kept the building alive. It was humbling. For the first time, she understood that leadership wasn't about status or strategy. It was about seeing people. And though Aaron never sought revenge, his quiet strength changed something deep within her. She began to rebuild the company culture around empathy, trust, and accountability. And every Friday, she joined the cleaning staff for lunch in the break room. No cameras, no press, just real conversations. Months later, at the annual Employee Appreciation Day, Madeline stood on stage again. But this time it was Ivy who presented an award to her father, a plaque that read, "For the man who cleaned the floors but lifted hearts higher than any CEO ever could." The crowd rose to their feet, cheering through tears. Madeline watched from the side, humbled beyond words. As the applause faded, Aaron looked toward the ceiling, whispering a quiet prayer of gratitude. He didn't need money, fame, or forgiveness. He only needed his daughter's faith and the strength to live with integrity no matter the cost. If this story touched your heart or reminded you that kindness, courage, and second chances can change lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Journal for more powerful true stories. And before you go, drop a comment below. I believe kindness always wins, because sometimes it's not the power of money or status that changes the world. It's the quiet, unbreakable will of a single father who refuses to give up.